Hello and welcome. My name is Craig D'Souza. I'm the CEO of the Creative Industry Association. And today I bring you a very dear friend of mine, Stephanie Weightman. I'm a little bit nervous because Stephanie Weightman is a professional television presenter. So this could go all really wrong for me. Steph, hello and welcome. I thank you so much for taking the time to do this. Now, I understand you've taken a break from presenting just to be with us today, and you've got a presenting show on immediately after this. So thank you so much for doing this.
That's fine. Do you know what, Craig? You made me smile there because you said professional television presenting. All I do is craft, and I craft on video. That's what it is. With lots of people at home watching, hopefully. But yeah, at heart, I'm a crafter.
Yeah, you are definitely a crafter. Well, you're more professional in front of the camera than I am, that's for sure. So Steph, for the people that might not know who you are or might have misconceptions of who you are, just tell people kind of how long you've been in the industry, you are a professional crafter, what you do, because I know you've got so many things going on. So just give us an overview of yourself.
Okay, so I have been in the craft industry for a very long time. I started off when I was 20, and I'm ancient now. And started off with a textile company. It was my first sort of venture into self-employment. And I have to say that my naivety and enthusiasm and my general zest for life probably got me through those first couple of years, because being self-employed and running a business is really scary unless you're naive, and that actually helped me massively. But I learned a lot, and it meant there was a very underdeveloped craft industry in the UK at that time, and I'm talking back in the 1980s. So it was really exciting to be on that journey, and the journey's just got faster, and the pace of which the industry's grown has been just relentless. And of course, I work in TV shopping. I've been at Create and Craft for the last 17 years, and
wow.
I know it's gone so quickly. Apart from a break of about a year in between, this really has been my crafty home. So I was here when the Chat Craft was just a segment on the main shopping channel. And we used to celebrate every time we came off air, and we'd had some great numbers. But more importantly, the numbers meant that a lot of people were actually taking up craft as a hobby. So I guess my real passion is, right down to my untidy dressing room, I'm a crafter. That's where it is. My passion is in product development. So I've been blessed with being able to be at the forefront of some quite influential brands. Tattered Lace probably is the most well known. And, I've seen that over the last year just grow and grow in not only strength, but in sharing. The most important thing is you can have the best product in the world, but without the customer, that product sits on the shelf. And without the education to inspire the customer, the product still sits on the shelf. And the one thing that TV shopping does is it gives us a platform to be able to demonstrate, educate, share the deal with the customer, inspire them, teach them how to make the most of it, take them on a journey. So it's been a fabulous opportunity for me. Consider myself blessed. I wasn't particularly bright at school, but I think that should just prove to everybody that if you follow your dream and your passion, you can make a career out of it. And God bless my mother, who said you'll never make a career out of gluing and sticking, and here I am now with sticky fingers and a pair of scissors.
Oh my Lord! And you've never changed. You've always been covered in either glitter or sequins or something or the other. Every time we catch up,
do you know, Craig?
Face,
I didn't know what to do before I came to join you, because I'm in between shows, as I said, and I was thinking, I probably need to nip to casualty quickly because I've had a nail problem. so I'm going to be crafting this when we get off here. I just came into the dressing room and went, where's that gone? So I've left it somewhere in the studio. So I'm sorry, everybody. It'll
That's
turn
fine.
up in someone's demo.
I think we're all crafters at heart, and as well, you know, you come on to some of the Friday evening conversations that we have. I run regularly Friday at 5 o'clock, and you've seen some of the ladies' crafting rooms, and I think you're never if your craft room is neat and tidy, you're not really a crafter. You're spending too much time tidying rather than crafting, I think. So that's it. I mean, you touched on a couple of points there over your creative journey, but I think it rings true with everybody in the industry that this industry is phenomenal for inspiring, educating, and also that then builds community and joins people together. So you don't only just do the TV stuff. Obviously, prior to the pandemic, there was also live events that you went to and you taught at. Is that still, hopefully that's still going to be part of the plan moving forward in 21, 22, once we come out of all of this?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think one of the things that this crazy world has taught us, and it has been I know for some people it has been a very, very difficult 12 months, and hopefully it's not going to last much longer, but we never know from one day to the next. And what it's done is it's made us change and adapt, and we've been very, very lucky. The channel, and I actually my Tattered Lace is owned by Create and Craft now, and this is my first sort of proper job, I guess. So I'm actually employed by the channel rather than being self-employed, and I've watched how we've had to adapt, but also the other suppliers into the channel. So these are some of the smaller companies that are bringing out signature ranges, and the big ones. Everybody's had to look at, what does the future look like? Look at other ways of being able to get to the customer. And part of my initial journey into craft was education and teaching. And I just love that contact with the customer. And I was talking about it to a lady called Mel Heatons. Some of you all know her. She's just such a passionate crafter. But one of her things is the customer service, the customer journey. It's a real big part of crafting for her. And we were talking about this just last night. We were both saying how this next couple of years, we're going to have to come up with new ideas of how to actually reach out to the customers. So whether it's going to be that we'll put more instructions in kits, or we're going to do videos that support what we do, or we're actually going to do online workshops. And, with places like Etsy to be able to take money, and Facebook to be able to set up groups, the IT's there now, and you don't have to be experts. I just nearly cut us off. I'm not an expert on IT, but I can work it. So if I can, I know everybody else can. And then you can link it back to your website and create the sale in a different way. But that customer loyalty is still there because you're able to talk to them. And my generation and, the craft industry is built on, I think, a very strong demographic is that lady who teaches with her and crafts with her grandchildren, her daughters. We're the ladies that have got a little bit of money to spare each month, especially this year, haven't had holidays, and we're very loyal to our craft brands. And although I have made some amazing friends at the events, and I've missed it really badly this year, and I do believe it will come back and we will have that, I don't want to lose the little bit that we've been able to create online, because that actually will fill in the gaps between the live events. So instead of us going from feast or famine, and then you get a glut of events together and then nothing for months, you can dip in and out a bit in the comfort of your own home as well. And cup of tea. Recently ran a competition. It was Tattered Lace 8th anniversary, And the prize was to have afternoon tea delivered to your door, and then a craft kit with it, and then an online workshop. And you know, it was really interesting. That was actually the best supported competition we've ever had. And I'm sure it was the afternoon tea that did it. But just, you know, imagine your cake arrives for you and all you've got to do is put the kettle on. It doesn't get any better than that.
It doesn't, does it? I hope it was Yorkshire tea.
Oh, it was from Betty's in Harrogate.
Oh, lovely. Oh, I haven't been there for years, actually. I think that's a very valid point. And obviously, everybody can do this as long as they focus on their customer, not everybody else's. Customer loyalty is key, but it's also you want that. You need to do something about that too, or businesses need to make sure that they're engaging and connecting. And I truly believe that we've been forced into tech. Crafters have been forced into tech. They're accessing everything online now, whether it's content, workshops, shopping, absolutely everything. So as a business, if you're able to do that as well, and it doesn't have to be complicated, it can be just emailing and making sure they're okay, sending them a tea bag or whatever it might be. It doesn't have to be overcomplicated.
Absolutely.
You don't have to have lots of money to do that. And that's going to get you through, isn't it? And that might, as you say, this now is going to merge into your everyday business, the day-to-day business now. This is in your plan now, isn't it? I think, which is exciting because again,
it is. And you know, one of the things I've done with the email campaigns as well, Craig, is because I don't know about you, but my inbox is just full all the time. I think anybody that website I've ever been on has suddenly dug out all their old databases and is actually sending people information. And I actually had one email the other day that was titled, "Am I driving you nuts?" And I thought, well, that's got my attention. And I clicked on it to see what it was. And it basically said, "Am I driving you nuts?" And then inside it said, "Am I sending you too many emails? Just tell me to stop." And I didn't, because I love the humor in the email. But what I've done is I've sent the emails out, and I've tried to combine elements that you would normally put in a blog. So, you know, today I'm looking out the window as I'm writing the email. So it's not corporate, it's not selling. Been doing things like putting a cake recipe on the bottom of it. Tried this cake recipe. It's absolutely delicious. If you've got a spare 5 minutes and you've got the ingredients in the fridge, because there isn't anything that you won't have in your cupboard, just give it a go and have that the next time you're crafting. And you know, think of me, because I'll be doing the same. We're crafting together, and share it with your friends. If they don't craft, share the cake. You know, it's about creating that community and making us all feel like we're not as alone as we feel at the moment. So, off the back of it, happy people shop.
I think you're absolutely right. I think I mean, as I keep saying, and if people have been watching some of the other videos, and also if you're involved in some of the chats, I've also been saying to businesses and coaching them on, now's the time to try all of these cheeky differences, connecting, communicating, because you can get away with making mistakes now because we're all more human. All of our guards are down. We're all very tired of everything. And we just want to be uplifted and see people having a go. And I think we're more forgiving now as a human race than we have ever been in business. So if the emails aren't spelt correctly, or there is a recipe or something cheeky on there, you kind of, do you know what? I like that because you're having a go. I don't mind it. So I think you're absolutely right. Give it a go. And I've got to ask, what was the cake recipe?
Oh, a lemon drizzle. I'll send it to you. It's amazing. It's just so easy. It's literally one bowl, all the ingredients in together, and then you put the peel in the actual recipe. Save the lemon juice, and the lemon juice actually goes over the cake when it comes out the oven. Oh, a cup of tea and a piece of lemon drizzle cake. that, and
Fantastic.
you know, and the nice thing is you can craft and it doesn't make your fingers greasy, so you can break bits off and you can I have this little thing because I've put on too much weight over this last few months, and what I do is when I'm crafting and I've got projects that I'm having to prep, or I'm doing something where I've got to write it up or whatever, I give myself a little reward. So I get so far and I divide my cake up almost into step by steps, and they're my rewards every time I do a bit of the step by step. So crafters are clever.
Fantastic.
Craig, I think one of the things that I think would be really valuable to talk to everybody about would be just a few of the things that have been successful over this lockdown period. And maybe there might be people out there just trying to find a new direction for their business. And I wanted to share a couple of little success stories, because I have seen some startups in the last year that have gone on to be quite successful. And one of the things that's sort of a bit of a buzzword, and I think we'll see more of it over the next couple of years, is people doing signature collections. And they don't have to be from huge names. They don't have to be something where you've got artwork that you after week after week. It can literally be a limited edition, just a single run. And I give you for example, one of the young guys that I work with, he's still young, he's in his early 20s. He's going to be an amazing, amazing pioneer for the craft industry. He has so much talent, he doesn't realize. A huge amount of excitement and energy. But the other thing is he's humble and has empathy with the customer. And I love the way he talks to us all. And his name's David Waite, and he's a name to look out for in the future. But he was telling me about an auntie of his who was quite a prolific painter. However, she was also quite shy. She lived alone, and she never really did anything with her artwork. And she's recently passed on and left it all to David. And he was just talking me through some of the pictures. And I actually said to him, what an amazing story. That could actually be a signature collection. So we're already planning how we're going to photograph each of the pieces, and we're going to make it into a paper kit. And we're going to make some toppers and some backing papers and bring the whole thing together, maybe even do it digitally so it can be downloaded. But what a fabulous accolade for his family. What a great story, because that human interest element of it, and also a talent that hasn't been shared with everybody. So I would be saying, has your granddaughter, grandson, your father-in-law, yourself, those doodles, could they be turned into Zentangle stamps? And gone are the days where you had to produce thousands of everything. It put us all off. Now we're down to a few hundred. In fact, in some cases, less than 100. So it's very, very doable for these retailers to come out with their own line that they could have, that's exclusive, that gives their customer a reason to come to them, but that's got a story. And that story is almost the hook.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was going to say, Craig, if anybody wants help with finding the right manufacturer, I'm more than happily help them, point them in the right direction. Because I really feel like I'm sure there is so much talent out there that just is not showcased. And it might be that the talent is with people who don't craft, and we just have to turn it into a product that we can all craft with. So that's one of the things that I want to do more of this year, is work with this hidden talent and just nurture it and sort of help them, give them whatever they need. It's not about any kind of financial reward for me. it's about starting them on their journey.
Yeah, it seems like you want to give back, and you've skipped kind of a couple of my questions that I wanted to ask, which was business advice and how people can work with you. That's fine.
No,
I think
sorry.
this is very, very valuable. Oh, I went really high pitched then. But I think you know, for me, when we talk to people about starting up, they are very, very scared because they just assume there's a massive cost element in them doing that, because they think they've got to produce thousands of thousands of thousands. But actually, what you're trying to do is simplify the process for them to get going. And if they kind of listen to your advice and get on board with you, they're actually onto a nice little pathway of starting out. So I guess all your email and contact details are at the end of this video, and also down in the comments below if people want to reach out to you. I think the other concern that people have about maybe signature collections or getting their work out there is obviously being copied or having stuff that's always straight on to various different websites and stuff like that. That's been a major. That's also sometimes why people hold off of launching stuff. And I always say it's difficult. You've got to get stuff out there, but get it out very quickly, very fast, and make your money on it. Because whatever happens, it's going to get copied. And I know we've had numerous conversations over the years about this. But people shouldn't fear this now, should they? That they really need to just go. If you've got a talent, if you've got something, get it out. What's your advice on that?
Well, I mean, you're right. We have talked about this a huge amount, and sometimes it's the manufacturers copying, sometimes it's another craft company. It's difficult, and the other thing is we're not reinventing the wheel. So if I occasionally I'll get an email from somebody that will say, "Oh, my friend did that card fold first," and you'll look at it and it's a friend or somebody who may even be in the industry who's got a blog or a Facebook page, and they've put a project online, and you look at it and you go, "Yep, that's great." But then when you do your research, it's probably been done 50 times before, but it's hidden somewhere in the web ether. But it's there if you know where to find it. And somebody once told me that being copied was the most sincere form of flattery, and you should take it as a compliment. It doesn't feel like it sometimes when you've worked hard on a design. So I do get that, and I know this is a very controversial subject, but I agree with you, Craig. If the product's going to be copied, then at least be the first to get it out there and get in people's hands. And if it's a commercial product, make your money, move on, and come out with your next idea. And I'm well aware that there'll be people shouting at this video, but unfortunately, the world is a very small place now, and I could cite a dozen sites where there are copies of some of the artwork and the designs that we've done at Tattered Lace. And in some cases you can even buy it cheaper than we can manufacture it. But that doesn't mean to say we don't have our own good independent business, and the customers like to buy from the people that design the product. So create good, loyal customers. The customer is so important. Look after them. And I'm not going to say turn a blind eye, but don't let your life be ruled by these other people. And it's a bit like the social media warriors. They've got time to sit and type, and it's easy because you're anonymous behind a keyboard. But while they're busy doing that, you could be doing something really positive and really creative. So I would just say, get your work out there, get it amongst the people that love your brand, and build your loyal following, because that is stronger than any copy anywhere. And of course you can register designs. It's not inexpensive, but you can register it. But then if you're going to register, you've got to be prepared to follow through. And once you start getting into legal battles, that does become expensive. But I'd say if it's something that's never been done before, talk to patent attorneys, look, take it all the way. There's still opportunity there. But from a sketch and a design perspective, get it out there, get your customers, get them understanding why you've done what you've done, and build your personality into it, because people buy from people they like. So they're going to buy from you rather than somebody down the road that's anonymous, that's just a copy. I'm probably a bad one at that.
Absolutely, great advice. What I would like to add to that is, obviously, that's something that I coach people all day long about this, and it's something that I'm very passionate about. But I'm also making sure passionate about the people, before they do anything, they plan. They understand what they want to achieve, what they want to do, so that they can hit that, get it launched, get it out quickly, make as much money as they can from it, but then also have something else. You know, I talk about the power of 4, and the power of 4 is 1 on show and 3 on the go. You know, always be developing, always be planning what is your next thing. Because if you've only got one product, then unfortunately, that is going to hurt if it gets copied, because you've got nothing else to go on. But it's something that we do, I do at the association, and really am passionate about, that people properly plan what they're doing and why they're doing it. And again, as you said, what's the story behind it? Because we all love a good story now, don't we? We all love that personal bit about you, what's going on. Hence why we're doing these kind of videos. So,
Craig, can I just sorry, I'm interrupting you, but could I just add one last thing to what you said there? Because that was really valuable advice when you're saying to people about having something as, you know, to follow on from your initial idea. I'll have a lot of illustrators and artists that will come to me, and they'll send me 1 or 2 pieces of artwork. If you want to convert that into a product, you need to have collections and ranges. So I would ask any illustrator, artist, product developer to take a minute to step back and think about who your customer is and what it would feel like to be that customer purchasing that product. And once you've got that product, what would you expect next from that brand? And that really encompasses your whole ethos of the power of 4. Because if you haven't already started or got ideas for the second and you know, I had somebody bring me some amazing artwork with ballerinas. It was probably some of the best I'd ever seen. The faces were exquisite, but that was it. And to build a profile for an artist, unless they can come up with trillions of different kinds of ballerinas in trillions of different poses, you become easy bait for somebody to copy something, because you've given them the start of the story that they then continue. So have that bit of even if it's not the finished product, just have the story.
Great bit of advice there, Steph, and obviously that's coming from years of experience in doing this. So really, thank you so much for that. So last question of this interview. I'm sure we're going to have other interviews, because I think there's versions that we can go on actually educating and really connecting with people. But I'm trying to get some professionals and industry experts to give me words of intent for this year. Not New Year's resolutions, words of intent, things that you want to kind of hang your hat on and do. So mine have been challenged. I want to challenge myself. I want to challenge making sure that I'm a better version of me. Make it challenge the association, make it a better version of an association that people want and need. Also, I want to inspire not just myself, but businesses and people to be better businesses and better people. So my words are challenge and inspire. Do you have any? What will be yours?
Well, how many can I have? I'm not good at not many words, am I?
You're never one to shorten anything down. So what have you got?
No. I think one word that follows me everywhere, but sometimes I lose focus on, is the word innovate. And I think that this year is a really important word. Now, when you say innovate, the first thing people think of is product, but I'm not thinking about it just as product. I'm thinking about education. I'm thinking about how can I make education and learning more innovative, so that makes it more interesting, more desirable, more pleasurable, and more accessible. So for me, that word leads me into my product. It leads me into the education. And then I guess the other one is, and this is probably, maybe it's my time of life, maybe it's COVID, maybe it is just how long I've been in the industry. But one thing that I've always done a little bit of charity work. It's been something that I was brought up with and I've continued all my life. And I'm not suggesting that this is about a craft charity, but I do want to do some mentoring this year. I'd like to try and share some of the things that I've done wrong so that other people don't make the same mistakes. I wish I knew now what I knew when I started in the industry. My journey would have been a lot smoother. So I think there's definitely a few bumpy rides I can get rid of. And then, sorry, phone again. And then I'd like to, you know, somebody like David, I've already mentioned. There's another young lady, a lady called Lily. Just getting them ready for their careers in craft, because I think those of us that have been in it a while almost owe it to the industry. So mentor and innovate are going to be my two big words.
Mentor and innovate. And that's quite, I mean, innovate is a really good word, but I think it's also a very scary word, because to innovate means that you need to actually come out of your comfort zone to kind of do that to a certain degree. And that takes time to do that, I think. So innovate's fantastic. I love mentoring, but I'm actually going to ask you if you want to change that slightly. And the reason why is because I think it should be giving back. Because I think, Steph, you've been in this industry for a long period of time, and we've had conversations about this over the last couple of days of what you want to do. And actually, it feels to me like actually you've got all this knowledge and you've learned the hard way about stuff. It hasn't been an easy ride for you in many respects and different things that you've done. But actually now it seems like your time of life and what's going on, it's almost like you want to give back now. Would that be fair enough to say?
Yeah, and actually, I like the word give back. It sounds generous.
There you go. There you go. So innovate and give back. Because I think you know, we've been in this industry for a long time, and I know that people ask me, why do I do what I'm doing? Because you know, I'm not getting rich quick out of this, and it is now more than ever. It's because I want to give back. I want to see this industry survive and thrive and bring more people in. So if we can do that collectively as an industry, that's fantastic. It grows, doesn't it? So that's brilliant. Well, Steph, I think that's a roundup for us, and I thank you so much for your time.
No, thank you, Craig.
It's been a great insight to knowing you, and hopefully we'll get lots of comments. And again, if people want to reach out to Steph, her email is going to be at the end of this slide and in the comments below. So once again, Steph, I thank you so much for your time today. Have a fabulous day.
Thank you. Thank you, Craig. And thank you to anybody that does take the time to join us. It's really appreciated.